The moment had arrived that Oak Island enthusiasts had been waiting for centuries. Rick Lagina and his team had been digging, scanning, and drilling for years, chasing leads, and now the confirmation came. Hidden beneath layers of soil, mud, and time itself, a void had been located. A perfectly engineered chamber that no natural process could have formed. Using high-tech muon tomography scans, a technology adapted from pyramid exploration, the team identified a massive anomaly far below the original money pit, over 200 feet deep. This void wasn't connected to the known flood tunnels. It was isolated, sealed, and carefully protected. Rick, ever cautious, insisted on a careful approach. No blasting, no rushing, just a precise borehole to send a camera down. The tension was palpable as the drill penetrated the last layers of rock and earth. When the high-definition camera finally entered the darkness, the team went silent. The footage revealed walls of cut, dressed stone, perfectly symmetrical, unlike anything ever seen in previous digs. The masonry was advanced, precise, and deliberate, showing engineering far beyond what had been expected from Oak Island. As the camera panned, it caught another astonishing detail. Wooden beams formed the top of what appeared to be a massive chest. Unlike the usual waterlogged, rotting beams found in other digs, these were dark, nearly black, and surprisingly intact. Rick whispered in awe, recognizing the age and significance of the construction. The first hint of the Templar connection came into view when the camera focused on a large, flat stone leaning against the far wall. Deeply carved into the stone was a symbol that no one could mistake: a cross patay, the unmistakable, flared cross of the Knights Templar. Marty Lagina and the rest of the team stared in shock at the screen. After over 2 centuries of fruitless searches and countless failures, this was undeniable proof. The Templars had built a vault on Oak Island. The excitement only grew as the team assessed the chamber. The void's air was stale but breathable, suggesting it had been sealed for centuries, perfectly preserved beneath the earth. Stabilization became the top priority. Over weeks, they froze the surrounding soil to prevent a collapse and created a secure opening. Once they breached the stone floor of the vault, the air that escaped smelled of ancient cedar and sea salt, a tangible connection to the past. Rick and Marty were the first to descend, stepping into a 15 by 15-foot chamber with a high arched ceiling. Unlike the chaotic money pit, this was a crypt, carefully designed to protect its contents. Against one wall sat 3 massive chests made from cedar of Lebanon, a wood prized in the construction of Solomon's temple. Each chest was bound with thick bands of a gold-like alloy, not iron, ensuring that time would not easily destroy them. The contents of the first chest were staggering. It overflowed with coins: gold dezants from Constantinople, silver deniers from France, and coins from the Kingdom of Jerusalem, all dating before the year 1300. The sheer volume was astounding, representing wealth accumulated across centuries. But the second chest held something far more extraordinary than gold: documents. Hundreds of scrolls and bound parchments, wrapped in oilcloth and sealed in wax, had survived intact. Among them were ship logs from the Templar fleet, maps of unknown coastlines, and texts that challenged current understanding of history. The team realized these were not just records, they were proof that the Templars had reached North America long before Columbus and had created a hidden sanctuary to protect their most valuable knowledge and treasures. The third chest revealed the most sacred items. Resting on velvet, a gold cross inlaid with uncut gems.
silver chalice, and a sword with a crystal pommel glimmered under the lights. Rick, a man of faith, recognized their significance immediately. These were not merely valuable, they were sacred artifacts, a link to the legendary treasure of the Knights Templar, rumored to have vanished from Paris in 1307. This was the holy grail of treasure hunting, a collection of relics that had survived centuries of war, loss, and secrecy. The gold dazzled, but the documents and relics carried knowledge that could change the understanding of history itself. Yet, even this wasn't the oldest secret within the vault. A small lead box in the third chest contained a polished black stone tablet covered in symbols that predated the Templars by thousands of years. Alongside it was a pouch with Roman coins from before 100 BC, suggesting the island's mystery was far older than anyone had imagined. The evidence indicated that Oak Island's secrets stretched back to ancient civilizations, possibly even linking to treasures from Solomon's temple. The Templars had not been the originators, they were protectors of something far older and far more mysterious. This discovery reframed the entire history of the island and confirmed Rick Lagina's long-held belief that Oak Island's treasure was more than simple pirate gold. It was a puzzle of history spanning thousands of years, hidden, preserved, and now finally revealed. The realization that the Templars were not the first to hide treasures on Oak Island changed everything. The black stone tablet, ancient Roman coins, and the carefully constructed chamber suggested that this vault had been a repository for secrets long before the medieval knights had arrived. Every artifact, every detail told a story of planning, protection, and purpose. The Templars were guardians, not the originators, and the mysteries of the island were far deeper and more complex than anyone could have imagined. The team now understood that what they had discovered was more than just a treasure. It was a carefully orchestrated legacy, a message from the past meant to survive centuries and reveal itself only to those who persisted in their search. Rick and Marty Lagina spent hours documenting the chamber, its contents, and every minute detail of the carvings, wood, and metal. Each symbol, each tool mark was studied meticulously. Experts in medieval and ancient history were consulted, ensuring that every observation was accurate. The Templar cross, perfectly etched into the stone, was compared to similar symbols found in France, Jerusalem, and across Europe. Every angle of the vault, every precision cut in the stone confirmed that this was not a hasty construction. This was intentional, thoughtful, and precise, meant to protect what lay inside from discovery by the unworthy or the unprepared. As they cataloged the documents, the team discovered that the ship logs were particularly remarkable. They detailed the journey of the Templar fleet, showing the route across the Atlantic to a safe harbor in the New World. The dates predated Columbus by nearly 2 centuries, confirming that the Templars had navigated these waters long before European explorers arrived. The logs described the construction of the vault, explaining how the Templars had used advanced engineering techniques learned from building castles, cathedrals, and fortifications in Europe and the Holy Land. They even detailed the creation of flood tunnels designed to protect the main vault while keeping treasure hunters distracted with the money pit above. The strategy was brilliant, a combination of misdirection, advanced engineering, and secrecy, designed to hide the most valuable treasures from the world. The maps included with the documents were equally astonishing. They were accurate to a degree that defied the accepted knowledge of the time. North and South America were depicted with surprising precision, along with other landmarks that had not been charted in European records for decades or even centuries. This evidence suggested not only that the Templars had crossed the Atlantic, but that they had conducted detailed surveys of the New World. The maps alone could rewrite the history of exploration, proving that the Old World had knowledge of the Americas long before Columbus ever set sail. Beyond the gold, documents, and maps, the third chest held items of extraordinary cultural and religious significance. The gold cross, the silver chalice, and the crystal-tipped sword were relics that connected the Templars directly to the sacred history of the Holy Land. The craftsmanship was flawless, the materials rare and prized, and the preservation
perfect after centuries underground. These objects were not only treasures, they were symbols of faith, authority, and secrecy. Handling them required care, reverence, and an understanding of their historical weight. Every item spoke to a past that was deliberate, purposeful, and powerful, a story of survival, cunning, and legacy that had been hidden from the world for over 700 years. Even as the team marveled at the treasures, the black stone tablet and Roman coins reminded them that the story was even older. This was not merely a Templar vault. It was a multi-layered puzzle stretching back to ancient civilizations. The tablet's pre-phonetic script was undeciphered at first, but experts quickly confirmed it represented a language that had been used thousands of years ago in the Middle East. The Roman coins confirmed trade, travel, and influence from a time long before the Templars ever existed. It became clear that the Templars had discovered these ancient artifacts in Jerusalem or the surrounding regions and had taken extraordinary measures to ensure their safety. The Oak Island Vault was therefore a protective layer over an even older treasure, a secret that had survived empires, conquests, and centuries of human curiosity. The implications of this discovery extended far beyond Oak Island. Historians, archaeologists, and researchers across the globe were stunned. The confirmation that a medieval European order had transported and preserved ancient artifacts in North America.
America redefined the known history of the continent. It challenged everything taught in textbooks about early exploration, trade, and cultural exchange. If the evidence from Oak Island was verified, it would suggest that North America had been visited, studied, and intentionally mapped long before the official records of European discovery. The team's findings were not just a treasure hunt. They were a rewrite of history itself. The conditions of the vault added another layer of intrigue. The chamber had remained intact despite centuries underground, a testament to the engineering skills of its builders. The careful selection of materials, the layering of soil and stone, and the construction of hidden flood tunnels demonstrated a level of sophistication rarely associated with secret societies of the time. The preservation of wood, metal, and parchment was a miracle, allowing researchers to study the contents in unprecedented detail. Each artifact, each document, each coin provided a glimpse into a world that had been deliberately hidden, protected from time and human interference. Security became a critical concern as well. The team realized that the significance of the discovery could attract attention from governments, collectors, and even criminal organizations. The vault's contents were too valuable, historically and monetarily, to remain unprotected. Measures were implemented to ensure that the artifacts were carefully cataloged, photographed, and stored securely while ongoing research continued. Experts in conservation, security, and history worked together to guarantee that every detail was preserved without risk of damage. The stakes were immense, not only for Oak Island, but for the integrity of history itself. The discovery also reignited debates about the so-called Oak Island Curse. For over 2 centuries, the legend of 7 men dying before the treasure could be found haunted every expedition. 6 were known to have died, families had been ruined, and lives had been altered forever. With this vault finally revealed, many wondered if the curse had been fulfilled, if the island had finally released its secrets, and what the cost of uncovering these treasures would be. The human drama intertwined with history added yet another layer of fascination, making this discovery not only archaeological, but deeply emotional, tied to centuries of risk, ambition, and mystery. The revelation of the vault sent shockwaves through the academic community. Historians, archaeologists, and cryptographers alike were drawn to Oak Island, eager to examine the artifacts firsthand. Each new item unearthed challenged existing narratives, from early navigation techniques to trade routes that had previously been considered impossible. Ancient manuscripts hinted at alliances and knowledge-sharing between continents long before the age of European dominance, suggesting that the exchange of ideas, technology, and resources was far more sophisticated than previously imagined. The personal stories of the Oak Island team became intertwined with the discovery itself. Months of painstaking excavation tested endurance, patience, and trust. Every step forward carried both exhilaration and danger. The threat of structural collapse, hidden traps, and the ever-present risk of flooding loomed over each dig. The team's camaraderie deepened as they worked in unison, driven not by fame or fortune, but by a shared passion for uncovering truths buried by time. Public fascination reached a pitch fever. Documentaries, news outlets, and academic journals all clamored for access to the vault. Social media exploded with speculation, theories, and even conspiracy claims. Some suggested that the vault held evidence of secret societies influencing the course of history. Others argued it contained knowledge that could rewrite science and engineering history. Every artifact photographed and every parchment decoded became a piece of a massive puzzle, hinting at stories that had been deliberately hidden, yet meticulously preserved for centuries. The discovery also prompted ethical debates. Who truly owned the treasures of Oak Island? Should the findings belong to the team, the public, or humanity at large? Questions of preservation versus accessibility became pressing. How much could be revealed without compromising the integrity of the vault or the artifacts themselves? Scholars and governments entered into discussions to ensure that the legacy of the discovery would endure, rather than be lost to greed or negligence. As the team delved deeper, Oak Island itself seemed to take on a life of its own. The island was no longer just a location for treasure hunters. It was a living museum, a repository of human ingenuity, ambition, and mystery. Every discovery, every secret chamber, every coded map added layers to the story, confirming that the island had always been more than a legend. It was a carefully orchestrated archive of history, waiting for the right hands to uncover it. Even as the vault's secrets came to light, questions remained. Who built it? For what ultimate purpose? And how many secrets were still buried, just out of reach, under centuries of earth and water? Oak Island had revealed much, but the sense of wonder and the thrill of discovery ensured that its mysteries would continue to captivate generations to come. The deeper the team ventured into Oak Island's secrets, the more it became apparent that the vault was only one piece of a far larger puzzle. Hidden tunnels, long thought to be dead ends, revealed new passageways, connecting the vault to other chambers. Some corridors contained evidence of previous, centuries-old expeditions, tools, markings, and remnants of old wooden supports, showing that generations had risked life and limb in pursuit of the island's enigmatic treasures. Each discovery carried its own story. Coins bore unfamiliar symbols, suggesting trade networks that spanned continents. Manuscripts, written in a mix of Latin, Old French, and cryptic ciphers, hinted at knowledge that had been carefully safeguarded by secretive societies. Maps indicated regions of the world previously unknown to early European explorers, suggesting that Oak Island might have served as a hub of information and planning far earlier than history books had ever acknowledged. The human toll of the quest was never far from the team's minds. Stories of past expeditions, men who had lost fortunes, health, and even their lives, cast a shadow over their work. The so-called Oak Island curse was more than folklore. It was a reminder of the risks inherent in digging into the unknown. Every creak of timber, every unexpected flooding, and every shovelful of earth carried a mix of anticipation and fear. The team moved cautiously, honoring the sacrifices of those who had come before, while determined to succeed where others had failed. Security around the vault intensified. International interest had exploded. Scholars, collectors, and governments all expressed curiosity, each with different agendas. While some sought knowledge and preservation, others were motivated by the lure of wealth, fame, or power.
The Oak Island team had to navigate this delicate balance, ensuring that the vault remained protected, its contents carefully cataloged, and its secrets shared responsibly. Beyond the artifacts themselves, Oak Island began to reveal something far more profound: the mindset of its creators. Every architectural choice, the reinforced chambers, the hidden flood tunnels, the careful layering of materials, spoke of foresight, intelligence, and an almost obsessive commitment to secrecy. Whoever had built the vault had done so with a sophistication that rivaled the engineering feats of the most advanced civilizations of the time. The knowledge embedded in the construction was as valuable as the artifacts it protected, a silent testament to the genius of those long gone. As months turned into years, the team's efforts began to reshape historical scholarship. Academic debates ignited over the implications of the finds. Was it possible that North America had been systematically studied, mapped, and cataloged long before Columbus? Could these discoveries force a complete reevaluation of the timeline of exploration and early global interaction? The answers were still emerging, but the possibilities were staggering. Even with all that had been uncovered, the vault continued to guard some of its most tantalizing secrets. Certain compartments remained sealed, their mechanisms undisturbed for centuries. Cryptic inscriptions hinted at further discoveries waiting for the right hands. Each breakthrough revealed more questions than answers, fueling a sense of awe and mystery that no treasure alone could provide. Oak Island had transformed from a mere legend into a living archive of human ambition, ingenuity, and secrecy. It was no longer just about gold or jewels. It had become a testament to history itself, a puzzle meticulously constructed and preserved, waiting for those capable of understanding its complexity. The journey of discovery was far from over, and for Rick Lagina and his team, every day promised new revelations, new dangers, and new opportunities to rewrite the story of a continent and its hidden past.
As the team approached the heart of the vault, tension and anticipation reached a fever pitch. Every step forward was measured, every tool handled with extreme care. The final chamber, long sealed and untouched, promised answers that could redefine everything known about Oak Island, and, possibly, about history itself. The entrance was hidden beneath layers of stone and reinforced timber, untouched for centuries. When the last seal was carefully removed, a dim light revealed a room unlike anything the team had imagined. Walls lined with metal shelving held countless artifacts, some delicate, some robust, all whispering secrets of an ancient world. Parchments written in cryptic scripts, gold and silver coins stamped with unknown symbols, and meticulously crafted navigational instruments suggested a civilization that had operated in secrecy, yet with remarkable sophistication. Among the items was a central object that drew the team's immediate focus: a large, intricately carved chest, reinforced with iron and inlaid with patterns reminiscent of Templar iconography. Inside were documents and maps that seemed to trace routes across continents, hinting that North America had been intentionally studied, mapped, and perhaps even influenced centuries before conventional history recorded such events. The implications were staggering. This was not just treasure, it was a record of knowledge deliberately hidden from the world. The team felt the weight of history pressing in on them. Every artifact carried significance beyond its material value. A single parchment suggested that Oak Island had been a hub for knowledge sharing among secret societies, a place where ideas, technology, and strategic insights were safeguarded. It was a revelation that forced historians, archaeologists, and enthusiasts to rethink the story of early exploration, trade, and cultural exchange. Yet the island's curse seemed ever present. Even amid their excitement, the team faced danger. A sudden shift in the floor indicated unstable ground, a reminder of the countless lives lost in pursuit of the same goal.
Flood tunnels groaned ominously, threatening to unleash centuries of accumulated water. It was a stark reminder that history's treasures often come with peril. Security measures were intensified immediately. The world's attention had turned to Oak Island, and the vault's contents could not be left vulnerable. Scholars were brought